So what's up, y'all? I guess I'm gonna be doing a reaction video to SunnyV2's The Stupidest Criminals of All Time. Let's see if it really lives up to the hype and the expectations.
In 2009, Matthew McNally and Joey Miller robbed a home in Iowa using masks drawn onto their faces with
Iowa, that's where I'm from. That's crazy. Wow, what the fuck did they think they were doing? Like,
permanent black marker. Whilst on the run,
that is, wow. Way to start it off is literally one of the most ridiculous things ever.
the two discovered that permanent black marker doesn't rub off easily, leading
I don't think that was the problem. I don't think you were gonna get away with a mask made out of permanent marker in the first place. But you know, whatever.
to their simple arrest and embarrassingly stupid mugshots. However, these two still look like geniuses in comparison to some of the other idiots we'll be talking about as we discuss the stupidest criminals of all time. Take for example MacArthur Wheeler, who robbed two banks in broad daylight as he thought that pouring lemon juice on his face would make him invisible to cameras. When shown that
What does he think this is? Harry Potter?
the bank surveillance footage, Wheeler refused to believe that he was visible, stating to officers, "But I wore the juice," believing that as long as he didn't come near a heat source, he should have been completely
That's what was wrong. That was wrong. You just weren't next to enough heat. How else were you gonna be invisible?
visible. Police concluded the Wheeler was not crazy or on drugs, just
He wasn't
incredibly
on
mistaken, with the lemon juice mistake eventually costing Wheeler a 24.5
24 years? You've gotta be kidding me. Oh yeah, I mean he did rob a bank with lemon juice. I that completely bypassed me. I was like so worried about the lemon juice.
year prison sentence. However, if we're on the topic of terrible disguises, then we can't go past Dennis Hawkins, whose disguise as an old lady wasn't much better. His sweater accompanied fake boobs, a full beard, and fittingly
Like you are not convincing anybody. Like man, you are a grown man.
clown pants, with his insanely recognizable outfit helping police to catch Hawkins only an hour after the robbery. The police chief for the area stated, "He would get my nomination for dumbest criminal, I think. You still have his black facial
Oh, this video's still 8 more minutes or 10 more minutes left.
hair with a blondish wig. Definitely different. Different is also a good way to describe Patrick McGuire's disguise, who robbed an Illinois convenience store while covering his face with a clear plastic bag. He was only able to obtain $60 from
He only got 60 bucks. If you don't love me when I have nothing, you don't deserve me when I have 60 bucks.
the robbery. However, due to his extensive criminal history, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for the stunt, meaning that he had to spend 1 year in
Jeez, man, imagine just throwing your whole life away just because you're that silly.
prison for every $4 stolen from the store. Talk about a bad return. Equally bad was Paul Sinclair's, who attempted to rob a bank in Florida by using his fingers curled up into a gun shape. The quote-unquote weapon was so non-threatening that the bank teller gave him only $120, after which he'd flee on foot before being caught by police only 10 minutes
That's a lot just for $10 or 120 bucks.
later. Then there was James Blankenship,
I guess he did get double the score of the last guy though, who only made it out with 60 bucks.
who thought that robbery was legal as long as you did it at a certain time of
What does he believe in, like underwater bears from like SpongeBob, where like you can't wear a hat and like you have to be in a circle, not an oval? Like what the
day. Back in 2013, Blankenship broke into his own mother's home, after which the police were called, who would take to their Facebook page later that day to explain what had happened. He fled the scene upon seeing his mother. The male was located under the house hiding in a crawl space. When advised of his
That's understandable though. Like I'm more worried about my mom than anybody else though. Yeah, that's understandable. Moms are scary.
Charges he made the statement, "I thought you could only be charged with burglary if you break in during the night time." Blankenship was given 180 days in jail and ordered to pay a $100 fine, yet this wasn't the only time when a person was dumb enough to think that a law didn't apply to them. Because when Reuben Pavin was caught stealing from a charity thrift shop in New Hampshire, it stated that he thought everything was free because of the name of the business, Finders Keepers.
He got you there. That's what you get for naming your place Finders Keepers. It's Finders Keepers. I mean, shit. I mean, he's got you.
The sign did say Finders Keepers, so I took that DVD player, took it home, Pavin told the local TV station. A couple of weeks later, the stuff is
Finders Keepers just puts the stuff there for people to take. You made it out with the DVD player, man. You should have just been happy with that.
still there on the porch, so I'm thinking to myself, Finders Keepers, they probably just put stuff out there for people to take. The business responded via Facebook stating, "This man who was caught on video is saying it is all a misunderstanding. He thought everything at our store was free. Is that really the best defense he could come up with?" After which Pavin reportedly turned in the stolen goods
Hey, you guys are the ones that put out that tricky name, that little sneaky name out there.
to police, holding that he's not a bad person or a bad dad, and is rather just unbelievably stupid. But was he as dumb as Derek Mosley, who in 2013 attempted to rob a store named Discount Gun Sales by using a baseball bat? When
Bruh, how are you gonna come to a gun shop with a baseball bat? Like, bro, nobody is scared of a baseball bat at that point. They've got literally an entire store of guns.
Mosley allegedly barged into Discount Gun Sales and smashed a display counter with his baseball bat, the store manager simply pulled out his own personal firearm and pointed it straight at the would-be robber, holding Mosley in the store until he was arrested and charged with first-degree robbery. A similar story then came out of Texas in July 2022 when a gun store was robbed at knife point, although this tale instead ended in a body bag as the robber was fatally shot by the store owner as he tried to exit with his loot. But what happens when you accidentally call 911 whilst committing a crime?
Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? As a criminal, why would you?
Pocket dialing the police is probably a fairly common occurrence. However, for Carson Reinhardt and Nathan Tekla-Merriam,
These guys just look like Dumb and Dumber.
it happened at the most unfortunate moment, specifically while they were breaking into a car. The alert dispatcher soon realized that the call was an accidental one, and moreover that the guys on the other end might be up to no good. For the next 35 minutes, the dispatcher stayed on the
For 35 minutes, the dispatch stayed on the line listening. Wow.
line, listening and gathering information, as Tekla-Merriam and Reinhardt did the following. Discovered a car that they thought they could burglarize, discussed how to break into the car, allegedly broke into the car, exclaimed in delight over finding narcotics in the car, became confused as to how and why a police car was following them, and reacted in disbelief when the arresting officer revealed that they'd been on the line to 911 the entire time. Scott Simon found himself in a similar situation, although
God, this guy, he just looks like he makes bad decisions.
under much more severe circumstances. Whilst on trial for murder in 2015, Scott was
I didn't know it was gonna go down like that heavy, Jesus.
successfully sentenced to life in prison, as 2 years prior he'd pocket dialed the police while admitting to a friend that he was the one who committed the crime.
What? You're in a pocket dial the police and admit that you're that stupid to kill somebody? Like, I guess I'm not stupid enough to kill someone, so I would never. I guess you won't be able to figure out what's in these people's heads because there's no logical rhyme or reason to it, I guess.
He had no idea he called 911, a sheriff's office spokeswoman told the Miami Herald. He basically told on himself, as did Albert Bailey, although in a much stupider way. Bailey had planned on robbing a bank in Fairfield, Connecticut, although rather than exercising the element of surprise,
I mean, you're already fucking up when you're planning to rob a bank. I mean, maybe in the 90s when it was like a really popular thing to do and people actually got away with it and it wasn't like a huge ordeal like it is nowadays, but I mean, it's literally 2020 in 2020, so what the fuck? I don't
He'd
know.
call the bank prior to the robbery stating, "I want $100,000 in large bills and no die packs. I'll be sending someone into the bank to get the money. Don't call the police, we are monitoring the police scanner." Prior to making this phone call, Bailey had already served 7 years in prison for a previous
He already did this? Like, it's nice, silly, silly man. Like, you already messed up already. Just put this man in prison, I
bank
guess.
robbery. However, this new plan was equally ineffective, as after arriving at the bank to collect his cash, Bailey was locked inside, arrested, and sentenced to another 9 years in prison. Although, if he wanted to avoid this time behind bars,
These people look like they are cracked out. Absolutely cracked out. Like, I can't say which one is worse. Maybe the guy?
he could have had a chat with Tito and Amanda Watts, who got arrested in Florida for selling tickets to enter heaven at a price of $100.
I mean, you're stupid to buy tickets into heaven. Like,
Tito Watts said in his police statement, "I don't care what the police say, the tickets are solid gold, and it was Jesus who gave them to me behind the KFC."
yeah, okay. Jesus is just hanging out behind KFC. He's handing out golden tickets like Willy Wonka.
And said to sell them so I could get me some money to go to outer space. "You should arrest Jesus because he's the one who gave me the golden tickets and said to sell them. I'm willing to..."
You're gonna have a little trouble trying to arrest Jesus.
A wire and set Jesus up. The couple had apparently earned over $10,000 from the stunt, meaning that they were able to find people even dumber than them.
What? $10,000? I need to start selling tickets into heaven. Shit, maybe they're not stupid. They seem pretty smart to me at this point. Like, they made a lot of money just doing stupid. Hey, god dang.
One of which might have been Ruben Zarate. While attempting to rob a muffler shop in 2008, Zarate was told that the shop couldn't access the money safe without their manager, who didn't begin his shift until later that afternoon. Instead of bailing on the robbery, Zarate instead gave them his phone number, asking them to give him a ring the next time the manager was in. They did so later that afternoon, although after returning to the store, Zarate received no money and was instead met by police and charged with aggravated robbery. Then there was the man who gave the people he was robbing something even stupider. The unnamed robber walked into a London bank carrying a gun and a bag, which he'd take to the front desk before demanding £700,000 in cash from the bank worker. But after making his demands, the crook handed over his gun to the cashier.
How do you, like, I have ADHD, but, like, how do you mess up that poorly? You're just like, yeah. Like, I can't even comprehend it. I can't even imagine.
Instead of the bag. Investigating authorities
Can you imagine the fucking bank teller, though? Just being like, well, shit, this robbery's over. Like,
already stated, the guess is that he is very inexperienced and panicked when he approached the cashier, handing over his gun instead of a bag by mistake.
I mean, how many people, rob a bank more than once, though? Or even once for the first place, I guess.
But it was Trevor Jones who left an even more damning piece of evidence at his crime scene. After breaking into a house in Atlanta, Jones took a moment to check his Facebook on the owner's computer before leaving
Bruh. Check your notifications later. I get how addicting it is.
without logging out. Less than 3 years later, a similar story entered news headlines, reading a 26-year-old Minnesota man has been tracked down by police after leaving his Facebook profile logged in at a house he allegedly...
Bruh. Just, like, why is social media that important? Like, it's not, like, there's a time and a place, like Professor Oak said when Ash Ketchum was trying to ride a bike inside. Like, what the hell are you doing?
robbed, although this story has a much funnier ending. The homeowner decided to message the robber via his Facebook, stating, "You left a few things at my house last night, how can I get them back to you?" Which was followed by the robber agreeing to come back to the home.
Oh my god, oh my god. I am losing brain cells imagining these scenarios these people are doing.
So he could collect the stuff he forgot. However, the robber didn't get any of his items back and was instead arrested while still wearing a watch that he'd
God, Andy wore. I want to internally combust or something just or spontaneously combust because of how crazy this is. Like I can't even my brain cells
stolen from the night before. While both of these idiots used social media poorly, at least they didn't brag about the robbery in a YouTube video, as is what happened in the bizarre case of Hannah Sabata. In 2012, at the age of 19, Sabata stole $6,000 from a bank in
Dang, I mean that's not that much to steal from a bank though. Like if you're gonna do a really hardcore crime, that's not enough.
Nebraska, and while almost anybody else would have simply kept quiet, Hannah instead took to her YouTube channel Jelly Beanie to upload a video.
What? She put it on her fucking YouTube? Man, I'm just starting out being a YouTuber and like I don't think I'd ever do this. Foolish. I ain't got 2 million views.
Titled Chick Bank Robber, in which she'd straight up admit to having just committed a robbery. She'd then discuss her entire methodology for the crime while showing the money and the amount that had been stolen, before concluding the video by describing the vehicle she had used and that it had its
What? She she's worse than rappers that admit to their crimes in music videos. She's literally just giving them all of the, like she's literally giving them the details and everything. Like I can't. Why?
license plates removed. This information eventually resulted in Hannah Sabata's arrest and sentencing of 10 to 20 years prison, done so in a public courtroom filled to maximum capacity with people who had seen the video. Just 2 years prior to this, 21-year-old Frank Singleton was being released from Palm Beach County Jail, having just served
He just got out of prison, fresh start to life.
time for a trespassing charge. The only issue was he didn't have a car to leave the jail, so he decided to steal one from the visitors'
Bruh, you just got out. Like, bro.
parking lot, yet the car he decided to steal was a manual and he could only drive auto. Singleton sat in the car looking like an idiot before being arrested and sentenced to a further 6 years in prison, telling deputies that he tried to take the car because he didn't feel like walking to his home.
Bro, and it was only 6 miles away. Take a bus. Like, I'm sure you could find a better method. Like, bro, some people just belong in prison.
About 6 miles away. And while you may be sat here thinking that these criminals can't get any dumber, it's time to introduce 53-year-old Michael Anthony Fuller. While it's common knowledge that the US bank
Sad that he shares my name.
note doesn't go any higher than $100, Fuller had the genius idea to create a counterfeit $1 million note before trying to use it at his local Walmart. He loaded
Can you just imagine? Imagine the teller surprise, like, oh, it's $100, $100 million, What the fuck? Like, bro, nobody in their right mind. God.
this cart with a vacuum cleaner, a microwave, and various other items totaling $472 before handing the $1 million note to the cashier, expecting $999,500.
Like, brother. What a reach. You are reaching heavy to even expect any change, let alone him to take it. That's wild.
$128 in change. Needless to say, Walmart wasn't able to facilitate this, and instead store staff called police. Fuller was later charged with a
Like, yeah, we're just gonna call the police. Alright, I think that's it for today.